Boilermakers lost in extraordinary fashion right at the end of the game. It took a guy, a forward, shooting the ball from 25 feet to bank in a three to really kind of make this happen. And then Purdue giving up not one but two offensive rebounds right in the last couple of seconds. So life sucks. Then you die, and then you have to drive all the way down I-65 in 8-degree weather with 25-mile-an-hour winds and tons of semis. And then you get home after midnight and then try to wake up again for your morning radio show. And it doesn't always work. I had already planned. I told those guys I'll be in at 6 tomorrow or today, whatever. And didn't realize that along with coming in at 6 this morning, instead of my normal 5:30, so I apologize to the Ironworkers Local 395 that I didn't go out there this morning. Not that I wouldn't, because I've been out in the cold, rain, and snow plenty of times. It's just that I was having trouble getting out of bed, just rerunning all the different plays through my head. Now, I've got a little bit of a different rhythm now going Purdue games, and that's kind of been changed around. First of all, right underneath the media seats is a bathroom and 2 bars and a whole lot of 75-year-old white guys with gray hair and mustaches sitting around anxious about the upcoming game or the upcoming second half. And it's really a nice atmosphere to sit around and put a couple away. So Alexis and I got down there a little bit early, an hour and 14 minutes early to be exact. We got to put our seats down and then sat for an hour or so in Club 9 or something. I forget what, a Club 109 or whatever they call it. And had a really fun time. What a great time to go to a Purdue game these days. I mean, it is just top of the line entertainment all the way across. That place was levitating. I saw seats, just average seats for the upcoming Minnesota game were $230 a piece. So if you're there, you went out of your way to pass up some dough to sell your seats, and then there wasn't an empty seat in the house, and I go down and watch. Usually, I watch the whole first half from the photography section there, and right under the basket. So I watched Purdue warm up, and seemed like they were about ready to play, and they came out and they had several big leads, and then they'd blow them, and then they blew one right at the end, and Ohio State came back, took a lead, and won the game, 64-63, maybe something like that, and it was very disappointing. And really only one person reached into the bag and had to kind of run in on a text. Typically, if it was earlier in the evening, I would have gotten a number of texts from, well, I'll just name their names because I drove through one of their hometown. And that would have been Dave Ryan, the executive director of the Lakeshore Chamber of Commerce. It's really unfortunate because often he will ask me, hey, can you host this or can you do this or that? And I usually say yes. But when it comes time to rub in a big loss, he'll show up with a email or a text. Well, even he was left me alone. And it was a kind of a quiet ride back up I-65. Alexis was equally distressed. And but we talked about it as couples do. And, I think we're going to get through this rough time. I don't think it's going to require any counseling or anything. But it might require this, is that I just picked up this tea here. And I believe this is the first time in 2018. I said, Ryan, hit me up with the decaffeinated tea, will you, or decaffeinated coffee. I'll hit a coffee once in a while, but mostly it's tea so you can drink more of it without ripping your stomach up. And I'm thinking that I might just go crawl back into the cocoon that I just left and go back there and maybe sleep off an hour or two of that. It's 19 in a row. That just pushed Purdue from a 1 to a 2 or a 3 seed, depending on how the rest of the season plays out. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Jed, after such a heartbreaking loss and a long ride back in the wee hours of the morning to get home to have to go fill your wife's car up and then move your daughter's car around and then shovel a little bit at like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. Are you going to go to Michigan State to then play? And that's a good question. I'm not really sure because I was driving up I-65 and right about Rensselaer. I turned to my wife and I said, hey, listen, I'm not sure I want to go to Michigan State now to see Purdue play. And she's like, well, why don't you make that decision tomorrow or Friday? Because you're not in the right state of mind right now. And she was right. So I know what you're thinking. All of you Indiana fans or even like a Indiana State fan like Dan Repay or whatever, people that like to rub these things in. I appreciate that you guys left me alone on the ride home. You know I'd be awake, so you just also know how heartfelt the loss can be. And you're wondering like who would break that code of honor after an extremely heartbreaking Purdue loss? Who would text me something? Now, I don't you could take the text as a comforting thing or as kind of just like, hey, I'm on your side. I'm just, kind of joking with you. And I'll read you the text. And then you'll have to figure out who would have sent this. Let me think about it, okay? Ryan, you guys ready? And Sammy, who do you think sent this? That ride home sucks. Nope. Think about it. Well, Ryan will know who that is if he thought about it hard enough. I don't think Sam really knows the guy as much. What's that? What's that? A woman. No, I'm man. A man. I'm related to him by Mark Forsythe. Ryan got it right on the head. So that was a Mark Forsythe special. He was the only person who would break it. Even Mad Mac, who texts me the darndest things during the day. All right, I'll read yesterday's, okay? Let me give you Mad Mac's yesterday's read of his text. Let me give it one of it. It says, breaking news. Lost and now found FBI text messages not only refer to Obama as POTUS, but state POTUS wants to be kept in the loop. Jimmy, this Democratic house of cards is starting to fall faster than Kevin Spacey and invites to speak to high school boys' gym classes. Anyone notice our first and forever former president has been MIA lately? So, I mean, even Mad Mac will text me the darndest things throughout the day, and I've got a litany of things, and nobody hit me yesterday on the way home from Purdue. So maybe I should thank all of you who did not rub it in last night, and then a special thank you to my brother-in-law of, 20 years or so for putting that forward. As a matter of fact, Mark's brother, Claude, was my high school lab partner, and he is now, I believe, he keeps getting jumped up the ladder at Franciscan, and he is the guy who hires all the physicians. Claude doesn't, he's not a huge sports guy, so I would not expect a text from Claude at 11:30 at night driving 72 miles an hour up I-65. So there it is. I got it out. I just laid it out, and I bared my soul to you guys. And like I said, Alexis and I talked about it, and I think we're going to make it through and this isn't going to require counseling this time. In the past, I can tell you the Purdue losses that I don't know why. There's been a lot. We sat right behind the bench when they lost to VCU up at the Chicago United Center. That was a tough ride home. One of the tougher rides home. Oh, I'll give you another one. We went down to a bowl game in Orlando. I don't know what that is, like the Tangerine or the. It was Citrus maybe then, and Purdue played Georgia and was winning a good portion of the game, and then right at the end lost the game. And I remember walking with my cousin Blanton. There's got to be somebody from Highland that remembers him from class of 77 at Highland, I believe 77, and 78, 77. And he's got these really long hair. He's always worn really long hair, like rock star Ted Nugent long hair all his life. Still has it. And somebody said something from Georgia. All I wanted to do was like fight five big hillbillies, and I would have got my ass kicked, and I would have felt better about it, just because it makes such a bile taste in your mouth when you watch a loss like. But the one that stands out is my dad and I drove up on a Tuesday night in the middle of winter, and we went up to Welsh Ryan Arena. Glenn Robinson was playing. Do I need to move on? All right, I'll get to Jake in a second and Man Mac and all the rest of you guys. And we drove up to Welsh Ryan Arena on the campus of Northwestern University. And it was, I believe, Glenn Robinson's last year. I think he played 2 years. And Purdue, you always thought that Glenn Robinson, the first Glenn Robinson, was going to win the game no matter what. And right at the end, Purdue was down by 1. Glenn Robinson gets the ball on the top of the key, and he dribbles down, and he's got like 3 guys on him, and he fades away, and he puts a baseline shot from the right side. I can remember right now, clear as day, as it was maybe 27 years ago or something like that, or 25 years ago. Was it 92 to 08? That would be 26 years ago. And or 92 to 18 is 26 years. And Glenn Robinson turns, gets about 11 feet high, and lets go this beautiful jump shot, and it goes through the air. You could see that, you could hear the buzzer go off while the ball's at its pinnacle, and then it comes down, and it goes right through the rim, but it catches just a little bit of rim as it's going through, and then that makes it rattle to the other side of the rim. And then it rattles back to the first side of the rim and then rolls out, and Northwestern fans storm the floor. And my dad and I just kind of sheepishly walked to our cars, and I'm pretty sure we didn't speak until Torrance Avenue. And that's how it is. You want to hear another one? I'll tell you another one. Ray Elbor, another well-known name in the local community, especially for East Siders. Joey, Jimmy, all the rest of them. Some of the craziest guys on the east side of Chicago for many years, and their dad was a cop. Well, Ray, is he the second oldest, I think? He and I are pretty good buddies. And we went out, I don't know, about a month ago and got stupid. But he and I and my wife maybe and a few others, we go to the Purdue Notre Dame game, and that's Drew Brees, and Purdue's winning, and they never win at Notre Dame, and we go and we get there really early, and we do the thing that you're supposed to do if you think you're like you think you're Midwestern royalty. You wind up in a place called Joyce South. Joyce South is a parking lot on the outside of Notre Dame Stadium, and on the outside of the stadium is just, man, it really is a good fun time to party. And we went there and we partied. We had our little Purdue flag. Well, Ray's a Notre Dame fan, and we had a nice party. Everybody, and then we went into the game. We watched the game and cheered at appropriate times. And of course, I almost got in a fight with a couple Notre Dame fans. One was named Biff. No, there were 3 of them. One was named Biff. One was named Woody, and the other one was named Chip. Now, they don't really have to be in fraternities at Notre Dame because they're still fraternity guys. Even though they're not in fraternities, they're still like, hey, Biff, hey, Woody, hey, Chip. And they were a little bit mouthy. And anyway, so Purdue's winning, though, by like 11 points, I believe, if I remember correctly. And Drew Brees, who drew massive applause yesterday at Mackey Arena when they put his face up on the screen. People gave standing ovations. He drops back to pass. Remember, it clear as the Glenn Robinson shot. And Drew Brees rose back to pass, throws the ball over the middle. And right about then, in late afternoon in South Bend, Indiana, they don't have, it wasn't lake effect snow. But what happens in late afternoon on kind of basically maybe from even around here sometimes, all the way up to Benton Harbor, Michigan, and then all the way through South Bend, even to Fort Wayne sometimes, is they get a little bit of a wind. And it's a swirling wind. So you don't really know where it's at. It's like, here's the wind. No, it's over here. No, it's coming from over there. Well, Drew Brees goes back to pass, and he throws the ball over the center, and he is throwing it to that big tight end. What was his name? Stratton or Strachan or something like that. Beautiful play. We'd all seen hundreds of times in Drew Brees' career, maybe even thousands of times by that time. And he throws the ball over the middle. Stratton has his hands up. He's ready to catch it. And at the last minute, one of those late afternoon Lake Michigan breezes kicks up, and it lifts the ball just a little bit. Because Drew Brees would never throw the ball inaccurately to Tim Stratton. It just wouldn't happen. And the ball floats just over Stratton's hands, and guess who's standing there? Tony, all-pro safety for Notre Dame. Come on, help me out here. Look it up. Grabs it, runs the ball back 70 yards, gets down to the 2. Notre Dame pushes it in. Purdue 3 and out. They punt. Notre Dame comes down. They score a touchdown, and 20:02, I believe it is. Purdue had a chance to win, and they lost. So they were winning most of the game, though. So we walked to the car, and Ray Elbor and his son, Derek, we get back to the car, and he had driven with me and Alexis and his son. And there's all these other people who were there. And my Uncle Jerry, who is now passed, I see what he does, because I already know what I'm going to do, is we walk straight back. And Jerry gets in his car. He says, bye, Jimmy. He lives in Muncie. He's my godfather. He's passed now. And I say, okay, goodbye, Uncle Jerry. And we don't hug. You know, that's not the kind of thing that you do. I don't know where all this hugging came along, but me and my uncles, I don't know how many times I hugged him. It was just a handshake. See ya later, and he leaves, and a couple other people get in their car and leaves. And then Ray and I walk. Ray finally gets to the car, and I'm like, all right, let's go. Get in the car. He goes, what do you mean, let's go? We got all this food. I thought we were going to party. It's still light out. Everybody's going to be here. I'm like, Ray, you don't understand. Purdue lost. We're leaving. And I didn't say another word, and he just said to Alexis, he looked at Alexis like, what? What? We can't sit here and drink some beer and stuff? And Alexis like, Ray, I think if you know what's good for you, you'd probably just get in a car right now. And so we got in the car, and we didn't talk until there's a urination stop right on the toll road about halfway, that really nasty rest stop on the toll road. And then I know exactly what the first words were. They were, Derek, do you need to go to the washroom? So Purdue lost at the end of the game last night. I was there. Alexis was there. My dad was there. Callie was there. We ran into a couple of Lake County elected officials who were there. You may not want me to say who they were, so I don't know what that means. But I'm here in spirit and in body, and I want to thank you guys for that therapy. I want to thank people like Dave Ryan and Billy Baker for not hitting me up about the loss. I'd also like to thank my brother-in-law, Mark for kind of breaking the ice. Someone had to do it. But we made it through, and we're here. And I'd like to tell you about traffic. There really isn't any. Isn't that great? 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west looks good. The Bishop Ford has a little bit of tightness from 115th to 103rd. The Dan Ryan, that looks good. Skyway, Toll Road, Borman, I-65 are all moving along pretty doggone well. Traffic's brought to you by our good friends at Napleton River Oaks Honda. Let's take a look at what's going on with the weather. It's still cold, man, and it was really cold in Lafayette. I don't know why it seems 7 degrees seems colder down there than 7 degrees here. And part of that, I think we figured that out the other day, and that those downstate cities are kind of made for, they're like southern cities that just happen to get really cold. But it was so cold yesterday down in West Lafayette. Mostly cloudy and very cold today, and a high of 23. Maybe a little bit of snow today. Maybe chilly with snow tomorrow, and 2 to 4 inches. Bit of snow on Saturday, 1 to 2 inches. And I saw the headline in the Times, more snow up to 9 inches in forecast. And winter storm watch for Lake, Porter, and LaPorte counties will be in effect from 9 o'clock tonight to 11 p.m. Friday. And then we get another jolt of icy stuff. We get some cold rain and snow on, what day would that be? That would be on Saturday. All right, so I'd like to talk to you guys to see how you're doing. And Jake has been waiting the longest. Jake, thanks for listening. I appreciate it, and you can bill me for that therapy session.
Oh, that was awesome, Jed. I appreciate it. Good morning.
Good morning.
I just wanted to call just to kind of help you out a little bit more with that therapy. I coach Little League now and then, and what we always tell the kids is winning isn't everything, right? It's all about your attitude, how you play. So, take that with a grain of salt. It was a good, valiant effort. But
all right.
At 8 years old,
yeah.
At 8 years old, they look up at you and they call BS on that too. So they just, I don't know.
You know what? I was just going to take it as your comment with a grain of salt, since you used the term, and I was just going to let you have it because, I think that if you grew up at a certain time, like watching Vince Lombardi, winning isn't what is it? It's everything. It's the only thing. Winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. And, I try to be laid back Jimmy on the radio here and stuff, but winning is a big part of a contest. As a matter of fact, that's why you're there. You know what I mean?
Pretty much the only reason, right?
Yes, exactly. You're not. Believe me, I had a great time yesterday, and I got my wife, and we got to talk, and we had a couple beers together before the game, and I was in heaven. But there's a big black mark on the memory of this evening going forward indefinitely, and that is that Purdue lost on a 3-point bank shot with about 12 seconds left. So,
well, there's one positive out of it, though. Seriously, it is positive. Is that if it's true, I think Sam and Ryan were saying that some of them guys had the flu. That'll knock you down bad, and it will kill you. And when they you got school mixed in with that, so hey, if they can keep it that close with the Buckeyes, with him and have the team on the flu, I'm still positive. I don't know. Hopefully they don't choke. Need them at least get to the Final Four, ain't it?
Well, let me tell you, I appreciate your attempts at easing the pain, but I don't know that all of the hype that has been coming. I saw an article on ESPN yesterday that said, can you make a case for Purdue being the national champion? And I'm like, that is way premature, and we found that out last night as Purdue faded. They had an 11-point lead, and they folded in the last couple of minutes. Maybe that was the flu, but maybe it's a sign of larger problems.
Well, you got some emergency vehicles. I don't know. If there was one that was heading south or east on 94 at the bridge, and now you got one heading the other way on the bridge. So there's something going on.
All right, here it is. I got Mark with traffic on that. Thanks for your attempt, Nick. I appreciate it. Hey, Mark, what's going on out there?
Hey, Calumet Avenue in Michigan, 2 cars couldn't get along, so they crashed into each other. There's like 6 squad cars on the scene. No ambulances. It looks like to me they're just waiting on a couple tow trucks to get there to clear the scene. So traffic going south on Calumet is a little tight coming up to Michigan Avenue.
Michigan Avenue is kind of at the base of the bridge. I think.
Yes.
Do they call it Carroll Street there, or is that?
No.
No.
No, it's Michigan. Carroll's is when you go into Roxana, I believe, is it?
Let me think about this. So I don't know. I don't know if that's Michigan or Carroll there. I guess I don't know my streets as well. I thought I did. Hey,
It's Calumet and Michigan.
yeah. Okay,
That's a big
Calumet,
bit, so-
Michigan. Hey, another question for you.
Yes, sir.
The market volatility right now is at a pretty recent high. How do you feel about all that?
Holding. Like I sold some stuff a couple weeks ago, profits out. But I personally been holding just to see what's going on. I'm still up this year and last year a little bit. So, if I get spanked a little bit, I'm still ahead because I took some profits.
All right, I'm going to address that after the break. Okay, I got a technique. Thanks. Talk to you. AM 1230 WJOB in Hammond, Indiana. I'm Jim Diedlow, host of JED in the region. Thanks a lot to the Grateful Dead, and thanks to you guys. And I think we're going to make it. We got Mike Reiser coming up in just a little bit, and that's always good to talk high school wrestling. Hey, the Ogren brothers, they're always good for a smile.
Has been serving the area since 1947 and provides insurance for life, home, auto, business, and more. If you're looking for one-on-one service, the best rates, knowledge, and experience, Ogren Insurance is your agency. Our number one goal is to provide you with the coverage you need at the most competitive price. To learn about the insurance solutions and services we offer in Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan, call 219-933-0076 or see our website, OgrenInsurance.com. Ogren Insurance, 6929 Holman Avenue in Hammond. Accidents happen. Be protected with Ogren Insurance.
When you're in the dark, where do you turn to find a trusted professional who can assure the safety of your home or business electrical system? Certified Electrician is here to help. Looking for a highly skilled electrical contractor for your next construction project? CertifiedElectrician.com is where to find one. We connect you with pre-screened electrical professionals living right here in Northwest Indiana. Experts in residential, commercial, voice data video, and signage. Certified Electrician can fulfill all your electrical needs. Visit CertifiedElectrician.com.
This is Pete Corellis with Corellis Roofing. Over the past months, you've heard on WJOB some of the names of the top roofing and sheet metal craftsmen our industry has to offer. Because of these dedicated craftsmen and many others at Corellis Roofing, we have been fortunate to have had the opportunity to continue to grow our business. We are currently looking for roofing installers at all experience levels. If you are interested in a career, not just a job, if you're interested in medical benefits, not just for you, but for your entire family, if you're interested in an excellent retirement plan, then Corellis Roofing could be the company for you. All applicants must pass a pre-employment drug test and random drug testing throughout their employment. If you are interested in becoming a member of our team, please apply online at Corellis.com or in person at 1333 169th Street in Hammond. Thank you.
I want to be like the pretty people on my TV.
Now you can.
All I need are gleaming white teeth.
We can help you.
Can you find the right dentist for me?
Dr. Andy Coulteritis, he's cosmetic dental.
Will he hurt me?
No, he's gentle.
I'm terrified of pain.
He's the kindest in the land.
He sounds great. Could you repeat his name?
Dr. Andy Coulteritis, 219-836-1111.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Hey, let's take a look at what time it is. 6:38. What time is it? It's time to go to Albert's Jewelers. Shop at Albert's to find that perfect gift for Valentine's Day. Do you want to say I do at Albert's? Visit albertsjewelers.com/weddings to find out more. Call 322-2700 for more information. 2 locations, Cherville on Main Street and also inside South Lake Mall. See you at Albert's. And also, see the nation's largest auto show at McCormick Place, February 10th through the 19th. Log on to ChicagoAutoShow.com for details and download the official Auto Show app. Hey, can you guys get me a couple of tickets for this thing? We always have people that are just go down to Smith or call Smith Chevy and see if they'll give me a couple or Napleton River Oaks Honda, and I would like to go up to that thing. I haven't gone in a few years, and that's a lot of fun. Hey, let me do some traffic real quick.
I have traffic.
Oh, what do you have?
Am I on?
You're on. You're on the radio. Go ahead.
I'm live on the radio. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
First time caller. Hey, we have an update from cousin Phyllis. She says too much therapy today. And Sibley, it stops at Sibley, bumper to bumper, stop and go. Stay off the Bishop Ford this morning, inbound.
What do
She
you
says
mean?
you're gonna be all right, cuz you'll make it through. She supports you.
She supports me, but quit talking about it. Basically, is that what she's saying? Hey, what do you have in terms of traffic? Then it's 294 around the city. Yeah, you see that that little accident at a little bit past Sibley. It looks like it's between Sibley and Dalton Avenue, and left lane blocked, and that's pushing things back. Might be a disabled vehicle, might be an accident. And then past that, it's actually a little bit tight, 115th to 103rd. And so watch the Bishop Ford right now pretty heavily. 294 around the city actually has an accident also, but you're able to get by it. And that is it's a southbound 294 accident that has a Gapers delay right at the Eisenhower. 80 going east and west looks good. Skyway and the toll road. The Borman even looks good. I-65, US 30. All those things are moving along pretty well. Thanks a lot to Napleton River Oaks Honda for proudly serving Northwest Indiana with superior customer service. Taking a look at weather, this one's brought to you by our good friends at Laborers Local 41. Of course, I am a proud alum of that fine union and owe a lot of my ability to move on in the world to local trade unions, and I appreciate their continued support, specifically the laborers, electricians, and the carpenters and the ironworkers. All four of those have kind of come together to push WJOB along, and they know that I'm a union guy, and that's how it is. And it's 9 degrees right now here at the Strachan Van Til Studios. It is 9 degrees out in Porter County at 395, and it is 8 degrees at 599 here in Hammond. Going up to 23, mostly cloudy, very cold, maybe a little sprinkle of snow today. Tomorrow, 2 to 4, gets up into the low 30s. And then by Saturday, it's ice and snow, so several inches coming our way. So good morning, how are you? And so high of 32 tomorrow, and then Saturday and Sunday, high of about 25. All right, there you go. Ryan, what's up?
Hey, you wanted us to add in some Facebook commentary to the show, and Randy is a big fan of the show, and he has some advice for you today. He wants you to go get on your reflective jacket and go out there and at the top of your lungs yell "Cho Pichu Huna" like you're supposed to.
Okay.
So maybe after Mike Reiser's done, we'll get you out there on the ironwork, on the street, on the boulevard, work the street a little bit.
Sounds good to me. Not sure what that means, but I don't always have to know what that means. Who's on line one there? That's not Reiser, is it? Hey, AM 1230, WJOB on 104.7, the voice and face of the region. Should I take that? Is that Reiser? No? All right, let's go to that. Hello, you're on the air. What's going on?
Jeff Smith, James Delow, what's up?
How are you? What's happening, Chief?
I was calling about that Michigan Calumet Avenue accident. We did. The guy said that the fire department was there. We were there like at 6 o'clock. The call came in about 5 till. We transported one person. Not serious though. So we were just waiting. Probably just PDs waiting for tow trucks to get there, like the guy said, to get it open. Because I was coming to work and I had to reroute because southbound Calumet Avenue was closed at the base of the bridge.
So you had to reroute. Where do you reroute from there? You reroute them east or west?
I just had to go. People were going both ways on Michigan, back towards Columbia or back towards Seoul, or all the way to Holman, I guess.
So how's it going in the Hammond Fire Department, huh?
It's going good. Going good.
Can I tell you something?
The snow and the cold.
Yeah, really. Can I tell you something? It wasn't a Hammond guy, okay? But I went at about 12:15 and I got gas out at I-65 and US 30. And last night or in the morning.
That could have been a Hammond guy, though.
No, it wasn't a Hammond guy, I'm telling you. All right, but it was a guy had a fire department jacket on, and I couldn't tell where he was from, okay? And I couldn't read it, but it wasn't Hammond. It started with maybe an L or something. And you could tell it was maybe a down south guy. By the way, that is a kind of a nasty area late at night, I-65 and US 30. But the guy was smoking a cigarette while he was filling up his car.
He's probably volunteer.
He was. It was a volunteer. It started with L, like Lake something or whatever. Smoking a cigarette while he's filling up his car. I felt like just like I was angry already. So, what do you do with that, huh?
I don't know. I can't even answer why you would do it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's crazy. Hey, man, thanks a lot. You guys do a great job, all you firemen. Thanks a lot, Chief.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Talk to you. Let's go to Zubay. How are you, man?
If my words did glow with gold of sunshine, and my tunes were played on the harp unstrung. It's a good morning, Jim. It's a great morning. Good morning, D-Lo. Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, Region Rats. I have a public service announcement for the region. Beep, beep, beep. Good morning, NDOT. We're going to get some snow. Get your plan of attack ready now. Get your drivers ready to dispatch. Get the salt loaded. Get them out there. It's going to happen. So help me God, if I got to take a snowmobile to work tonight, I'm going to be a little upset.
It's a hand-me-down. The thoughts are broken.
Perhaps
they're better left
unsung.
I don't know.
Doesn't that just put you in the mood right there? A little mellow out ripple.
I don't really care. Hey, listen, we're going to get some snow and then some ice. So I started out the show today with a little cold rain and snow live version, which is the only kind. And that was kind of a precursor to the next 3 days. And the Times is saying up to 9 inches. And then they're going to coat it with some icing on Saturday to put that, that little coat on, beautiful fresh snow that gets that little hard, crunchy coat on the top of it by Saturday.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting.
Gas up today, hit the stores for food, get some Redbox or Netflix, and just chill out. Maybe some couple 12 packs of Diet Coke.
Do you listen to podcasts?
No, you know what? I'm so lazy lately because we've been so bombed at work. I just want to, when I get home, I just want to get a little food in the belly and sleep, wake up and do it all over again. I need to download that Hey JED app and everything.
You need to send me stuff in the middle of the night. Hey JED, it's 3 in the morning, and it's 2 degrees, and sing me a Grateful Dead song, and then
we can make that happen.
We'll just be connecting.
You know what? How long does it take to download that app? Because I remember you guys talked a while ago, and people said they were having a hard time downloading it. You actually have to go through the App Store.
Yeah, you got to go download it.
You have to have your Wi-Fi on or whatever.
Yeah, most people when they're downloading an app, you want to do it from your own Wi-Fi, and so. Just do it when you get home today. It won't take you but 2 minutes.
When I wake up and I throw the ribeyes on the griddle, I'll do that. And then tonight, I'm going to give you a bird's eye view as I'm driving my Nissan forklift down the dock, because I guarantee you, on our semi-enclosed dock, I'll be driving through at least 2 or 3 inches of blowing snow. Good times.
That'll make you a man, Zub. All right, man.
Someone's got to do it.
Thanks for that lighthearted ripple. I appreciated it. Talk to you.
Confer.
All right, man. Here's Sonny from my on Friday and Saturday. I had to come down here and fix something in the evening. I'm not real keen on that. They know it better be a big deal if they're going to call me to come fix something on a Friday or Saturday night. And Sonny's a new guy here. Let's see what he had to say about that.
On Saturday night, me and Ron Harlow were experiencing difficulties with the airing of the games, so we had to improvise with talking on the radio. I was nervous and unprepared, but I guess I just have to expect the unexpected in this field, because you never know what may happen, no matter what time it is or whenever.
That was pretty good, Sonny. Sonny Santana's got a good radio voice. And, he is in my sports broadcasting class. And, oh, by the way, we sat right next to Robbie Hummel. And in true region, I don't really IDGAF fashion, Alexis was the only person in Mackey Arena that asked him for a selfie. So Alexis and Robbie Hummel got a picture together, which was very reminiscent of the very time that we let Debbie Wargo go to the White Sox Fan Fest, and we've been kicked out of there ever since. And that was because Debbie went in there, had a couple pops on the way in, wore her White Sox garb, and was, kind of just take pictures with all of the players when you're just not supposed to do that. No, Alexis didn't do it in an obnoxious way, but Robbie, of course, is always a very friendly guy, and he was there covering the Purdue-Ohio State game for the Big Ten Network. All right, guys, we have. Is it the best weekend of wrestling in Indiana? Is it the regional or is it the semi-state that is the best? I don't know. Mike Reiser of IndianaMat.com probably has a better handle on that. What's the best weekend of the year for Indiana wrestling there, Reiser?
Probably the state finals. I mean, it's just everyone gets together, so it's a bigger feel. I mean, that's kind of the culmination of the season. But semi-state's right up there, especially for the region. Like in the region, that's probably the top.
I agree, and I went to last year's semi-state and been to a few other ones. Didn't they used to have it at Maryville, maybe?
Yeah, it was at Maryville until like 3 years ago.
Yeah, so I've been to that one, and it brings together the region wrestling community, even if a kid has lost or sometimes the kid has already graduated and his dad comes back. It brings the community together, and it's a pretty tight-knit community as it is, and you can kind of get that whole feel. That's going to happen this Saturday.
Yup, at East Chicago. They took it over 3 years ago, kind of outgrew Maryville's gym. It became real crowded, so some of the Maldonados, I know Pablo Maldonado's kind of the director over there, and they've taken it over there at East Chicago, and it's ran smooth. They've done a really nice job.
So let's do, you know what? We got to get to it, man. You tell us where to go. Mike Reiser, give the plug of your podcast and give the plug of your website first.
Yeah, I do a lot of work with IndianaMat.com. We're kind of a one-stop shop for Indiana wrestling. We do a weekly show. Actually, we're doing two this week. We did one Tuesday, preview of East Chicago semi-state. So it's about 2 hours long, and we did a Fort Wayne semi-state. And then tonight we'll do Newcastle, which is Indianapolis, and Evansville. So kind of working hot. And then I've been doing the broadcast with the Region Sports Network. We did the full coverage of the regional at Crown Point and at Hobart. And Hobart did a really nice job. First year they had a regional. It used to be a Calumet regional, and they killed it. And we'll do the coverage Saturday at the East Chicago semi-state also.
So let me just comment on that. Ramirez and you guys are doing a great job on the wrestling, and so there's only so many crews that can go around. Region Sports is going to be out there at East Chicago, and if you can't find it, we will share that over as soon as they go live, so you'll be able to find it on the WJOB Facebook feed also. Of course, we will be having girls regional action, semi-state action, regional action also at the same time. So between Region Sports and us, check both of the Facebook feeds, and you'll be able to get all the high school sports you want on Saturday. All right, so Reiser, what's going on? Tell us the big stories out at EC.
Yeah, so Indiana is a single-class state. We're one of the only states in the country that does wrestling in single class. So there's only going to be one champ. And after the sectional, it's essentially a blind draw. The regional kind of takes care of itself because you go 1 and 4. But the semi-state and the state finals create some problems where you're going to run into some kids. You're going to have what we call death matches, death draws, where you're going to have kids that are highly ranked that maybe got upset drawing another highly ranked kid for a ticket, and we're only taking 16 to the state finals. And East Chicago and Maryville were always notorious for that because of how deep the semi-state is. So we can go just by weight class at 106. You're going to have, not too many death matches. It was pretty well separated. Jacob Moran of Portage, he defeated Martin Cruz in the regional. So they're 1 and 2 in the state. They're going to be opposite brackets. I would assume that they're going to be in the championship again. Then you also have a kid from Frontier High School by Lafayette. He's undefeated. He's 30 and 0. He's ranked number 11 in the state. And you'll have number 12, Giovanni Diaz, 36 and 1 from Wheeler. So I think those 4 guys are going to be punching the ticket. Not too many crazy draws there.
All right, go on.
113. 113 gets a little bit of crazy, but not too bad. Andreas Moreno of Lowell, he's undefeated. He's 39 and 0. He defeated Jose Wheeler. Jose Wheeler's 36 and 2. His 2 losses are to Moreno at the sectional and regional. So they're opposite bracket. They actually have pretty good draws. Jose Diaz could have a tough tick-around match with a kid from Penn High School, Evan Light. Actually, one of the South Bend television stations just did a really nice program on him. He was born in India, and when he was an infant, he was in a car accident, and they had to amputate his feet. So he wrestles without feet. He has no feet. They have, specially designed wrestling shoes he can compete in. Just a really good, just a feel-good story to see someone overcoming that. And he was there last year. He was a regional champ, so they wrestled this year, but Jose Diaz beat him 6-4. So if you're there, you check it out. And you're wondering what's going on, that's kind of the story behind that.
So
he was adopted, brought to South Bend.
So he's a kid who grew up in India, got his feet cut off somehow, and he winds up in South Bend, and they put some sort of special shoe on him.
Yeah.
That is an interesting story. I'll give you that. And if I don't go to Purdue, Michigan State, I will make sure I get there for the finals in time. To see that, although he may not be in the finals, but we'll see.
That's a ticker. He came over as an infant. He was adopted. His mother actually died in a car crash. So his mother died. They had to amputate his feet. He went to an orphanage. Someone from South Bend, adopted him and brought him to Indiana, and he's out there competing at a high level, which is amazing.
Can he walk?
About how many guys?
Can he walk?
Yeah, he actually he walks on like the blades like they do from the Olympics.
Wow, that's crazy.
But when he takes them off, he takes them off to wrestle, and it's a shoe that slides over essentially his ankle bone.
All right, man. You know what? I would have got up this morning and said, I wonder what Reiser's going to tell me, and I'm pretty sure I could have gone for the rest of my life and not guessed that story you just told. All right, but keep going.
Yeah, so then Ricky Hedges and Brandon Mark, that's 14 and 20. That'll be another ticker round. And Danny Tolan from Chesterton actually got a really good draw, too. So I got Tolan, Jose Diaz, Andreas Moreno, and Ricky Hedges from Portage getting out there at 113.
Okay.
120. This is kind of where the death draws start. So Tyler Triana wrestled Brock Peel again in the regional, which was another good match, but Triana kind of separated a little bit more. So that's 6 and 4 in the state. Those guys are both state semifinalists. Triana's returning semi-state champion. Now out at Lafayette, because Lafayette feeds into our semi-state along with South Bend, you had a matchup of 16 and 17. Trey McCartney from Lafayette Harrison, who was a state qualifier 2 years ago, and Eli Hickman, who's a returning semi-state champ from 106, moving up 2 weight classes. Trey McCartney, a returning semi-state qualifier, number 16, has to wrestle Tyler Triana for a ticket. And Brock Peel has to wrestle once beaten Eli Hickman, returning semi-state champ for a ticket.
Ah!
Yeah, so you're talking about 2 guys, probably 4 guys that could be at the state finals representing East Chicago semi-state that are going to, 2 of them are going home. And that's it. Like, you lose in the first 2 rounds, a lot of seasons and careers are going to end. And that's just one of those tough draws.
Let's move on. Next weight class.
126, got another one like that. Colin Pointer won the regional over there. There was an upset over at, it's kind of an upset over at South Bend. He has Braxton Alexander from Wawasee. Braxton Alexander actually beat Colin Pointer last year in the semifinals of the semi-state. So that's for a ticket. Then you're also going to have Tanner Demeen, Carolyn Kelly from Crown Point. Looks like he's going to get out. Skylar Gomez from LaPorte kind of has a tough row, but I have him getting out also. So that Alexander Pointer match would be really good in the second round.
Pointer's Portage, right?
Yeah, Colin Pointer from Portage. His dad used to be the head coach at Highland when I was in high school.
There you go. I knew that name. All right, go ahead. What do you got?
132. Kind of not as too many, but Reese Rodriguez of Morton, injury defaulted in the finals of the regional. He broke one of his teeth out in the front. It was held in by one of his braces, so he had to forfeit the match. He has a ranked wrestler, Jermaine Brooks from Wawasee first. The winner of that's going to have Sean Hollis from Lowell. So that's kind of a really tough quarter bracket. You have Cody Bethune, who's an undefeated kid from Lafayette Harrison. He'll have the winner of Gabe Weeks and Jake Maldonado from Maryville. Manzona Bryant's he's the number 2 ranked kid in the state. He's from the Culver Academies. He's really good, so he has a pretty easy draw. And then Alec Luna from Portage, he was under 500 going into the regional, got over 500 on the day, won the regional, and now he set himself with a nice draw between him and Callan Taylor from Crown Point. That would be a tick-around match. So one of those guys should punch their ticket, which would be good for those guys.
130, was it 139 next?
138.
138.
Yeah, Portage's Chris Rumpf is the favorite in this field. He looked really good Saturday again. I mean, we kind of talk about it all the time. Anything less than a state championship for Chris is going to be a disappointment. I mean, he's got the ability and he's got the pedigree to win that. Then you're looking at a couple other ones. Adam Davis of Culver Academies, the once beaten senior. He was a state qualifier. Ian Dembowski of Valpo is a returning state qualifier, 21-4 regional champ. He'll probably wrestle Azure Ursery from Maryville. And then Jake Burford from Crown Point, real tough kid. His dad's a real good dude, Bill Burford. He'll have another tough kid for Penn, Preston Risner. So I got Burford, Rumpf. Sorry, I just went on an iPad. Adam Davis and Ian Dembowski qualifying for the state finals there at 138 pounds.
All right, move it along.
Yeah, 145. Casper McIntosh is kind of the head of the field here. Real good Saturday, won another regional. He's 29-1 on the season. But this is kind of another thing where you get that blind draw. The second best kid in the weight, another kid that's a returning semifinalist, Jacob LaPlace from Mishawaka. They're going to wrestle in the semifinals. So one of those guys are going to draw 2 on Friday night, which, your semi-state runner-up, you're probably feeling good about yourself, and then you got either Casper McIntosh or Jacob LaPlace. And then you have Jordan, I can't think of his last name, from Attica. He's a 42-1 sophomore, and he'll wrestle probably Cole Cervantes from Griffith. He's been hot lately, so I think Cervantes is going to get through. And then you got a quarter bracket of freshman Brock Ellis from Chesterton, 39-8 or 34-8. Tyler Turley, a freshman, 37-6, and Gavin Banks, a senior, 33-9. So one of those three, I'm thinking it's going to be the 2 freshmen fighting out for a ticket there between Ellis and Turley.
All right, what do we got next?
152, and this is kind of the same thing where you're going to have the number 2 ranked wrestler in the state, Graham Calhoun from Plymouth. He won his regional, got a pretty favorable draw, and he'll have to wrestle Donnell Washington of Portage, a runner-up in Illinois. He won the regional. They'll wrestle in the semis. So one of those guys are going to be wrestling the 2 Friday night at the state finals, which is never a good thing for anyone out there. On the top half, you got, it's brutal. There's a real good kid from Mishawaka. He's young, Joseph Walker. I think he's going to punch a ticket out of that other quarter bracket. And the top quarter bracket's pretty interesting because you got returning state placer from Crown Point, Noah Lamore, 27-2. He's a state placer last year. And you have Aaron Griggs, 31-7. Lamore beat Griggs early on in the year, and then Griggs pinned Lamore at the DAC. So the rubber match is going to be for a ticket to Indy.
160?
160 you're going to have.
Once again, we're talking, by the way, I got to give the ID at top of the hour here, 7:03. Talking to Mike Reiser, trying to go through all the weight classes for the East Chicago Semi-State, and that'll be going on this Saturday. The matches, I think it starts around 9, and then you get another wave around 11 on the ticket rounds, or maybe even a little earlier. And typically, if I remember correctly, your finals are right around, say, 1:30, 2 o'clock. Is that about right, Mike?
Yeah, generally. I mean, they'll take a lunch between the ticket round and the finals, and then, you know, that's when it gets good. That's when you're getting some of the best wrestling in the state. I mean, 340 schools in the state of Indiana, and you're going to dwindle down 340 kids to your top 16.
All right, let's go to weight class 160, 170, 182 in there. Let's go through 160.
Yeah, you got a death draw here where you're looking at returning state qualifier Dante Colza of Holbrook is 31-3 on the season, and you get Diego Lemley, a returning state runner-up from Chesterton. He's 27-4. Diego got beat in the regional final by Oscar Cash of Crown Point, setting up this death draw. That's not a draw you want to see. Both those kids are seniors, so one of them are going to go home, kind of end their career a little bit lighter than they wanted to, you know.
Oh,
Oscar Cash got a pretty favorable draw, and then you have Ethan Atkins of Lafayette Jefferson. He's 40-4, and probably Malik Hoover 27-10, but he has 10 really good losses in that Marigold schedule. So you're looking at that, and then you're always looking for 4s over 1s because there's going to be a 4th placer from a regional that's going to beat a champ from a regional. And I think at this weight there's one, Cody Snook of Calumet. He's 30-10. I think he has a good shot of Ben Kissinger from Mishawaka, 25-9. I think that could be a 4 over a 1, a senior. And
All right.
they'll have the winner will be an Owen.
And you're just to make it clear, you're a Calumet grad, correct?
I'm a Calumet guy. So
All right.
we're gonna get a little bit of a roll of Calumet guys where I'm picking for them. So
You got it. Let's go to 170.
170. You got Zach Fator. This is kind of another death draw. Zach Fator of Hobart, undefeated on the year, 35-0. I'm not sure if you got to see the article the Times ran 2 weeks ago. He's like borderline brilliant. He carries a 4.6 GPA. He scored like 1480 on his SAT. So he's wrestling Mark Bueller of Wheeler, who's 36-2. He was upset in the regional final. Mark Bueller is a senior. He's had some injuries, but Fator is an animal. That's going to be a tough match right there for Bueller. Then you're going to have Drake Guerrero, possibly, and Noah Brown of Penn, Drake Guerrero of Portage for a ticket. Evan Light and Cody Prairie, the last of the Prairie brothers. He looked really good Saturday. I think I have him punching the ticket also. And then Mario Trefacante and Carlos Lopez of McCutcheon. Mario Trefacante at Crown Point, returning state qualifier. I think Mario's going to also get a ticket.
Go to 180 or 182.
182. 182 is a little bit deeper of a weight class. You have Max Sheffy, 22-1 from Penn, and Tyjon Lockett from Maryville, 33-5 for a ticket. Then you're going to have Bradley Groover from River Forest, a returning state qualifier, and Cade Gargente. He's 31-1. He's an Al Smith champ, regional champ, DAC champ. I think that he's going to punch that ticket, kind of knock out Bradley Groover, who was a returning state qualifier last year. Ethan Patowski from Crown Point, 28-5. I think he's going to get a ticket. And then you have a tough bracket up top with Jeremy Torres, he's a returning state qualifier, regional champ, 25-9 from Portage. They'll have the winner of Randy Steve from Kankakee Valley, 33-4, and Michael Boland of Culver Academy is 21-1. So that's a pretty tough one, but I got Torres punching the ticket there too.
All right, we got about a minute left. Let's go through 95 and 220.
Yeah, 95, you're going to have some tough ones. You got Lucas Davison is obviously the favorite in the field. He's undefeated, returning state runner-up, nationally ranked. Jacob Bonded from Portage, he's been a good story all year. He has that draw to go to state, so that's going to be tough. Rockney Hurley got a pretty favorable draw. Aaron Hogan from Hammond Morton should be a tough matchup there. You have Bryson Ford from Benton Century, 31-1. He'll have Nick Spoonveld. He's a returning state qualifier, 27-4 from Kankakee Valley. And then a real good matchup here between you and Donovan of Hebron. He's 35-3, and A.J. Fowler of Calumet. A.J. Fowler beat you and Donovan at the Lake County tournament, and then you and Donovan turned around and beat him at the conference. So rubber match for a ticket there at 195 pounds.
And I'm sure you got your money on A.J. Donovan. Hey, let's go to 220.
220, you got Brandon Streck. He's kind of the class of the field here. But I think all four wrestlers from the Hobart Regional, Caleb Thomas from Munster, James Lewis from Calumet, I think is going to get a ticket. And then Chess Wolf, I think, is going to get a ticket also from Portage. He's 20-10. But I think all four from the Hobart Regional will be qualifying at 220 pounds.
All right, man. Then finally, let's go into 285.
The big boys. You got number one ranked in the state, 41-0. Isaiah McWilliams from South Bend, Washington, is returning state runner-up.
Did he win that last year?
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
They call him the bus.
Yeah, the bus, man. He's a kind of, you look at him and you're like, man, I don't know. He doesn't look all that athletic. And then he beat somebody in the finals of the semi-state last year, and I can't remember who it was. Do you?
Brandon Streck. Rudy
Yes.
Streck, yep.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, he's all go. This kid's got a ton of heart. He finds a way to win. He's going to have a tough one in the finals, I'm predicting. Eli Picorni of Chesterton, he's 34-0. He's an All-American. He's ranked number 2 in the state by me. And Eli will have a tough one in the quarters with Alex Cartwright, but that should be a really good final. So a lot of guys like to leave early, but that's a good one to stay and watch. Then you're going to have Donnie Kreider. He just set the state record for pins. He's 46-2 from Lafayette Harrison. He was in the semi-state finals last year against Picorni at 220. And Anthony Atria from Maryville, I don't know if you read the Times yesterday. They just ran an article. His mother passed away 3 weeks ago, and it's just kind of, it was a good story. You know, you feel bad because there's so much to deal with without being a kid in your everyday life, and he's dealing with that while competing. But, you know, it sounds like wrestling's helping him cope with that and being around, you know, a lot of good people.
He is Mike Reiser, IndianaMat.com. Mike, thanks for bringing all the kids' names to the airwaves here. And let's do it again next week. Once again, that's at East Chicago Central. And if you're remotely related to wrestling or you're just kind of remotely interested in it, of all the wrestling things I've ever been to over the years, this East Chicago Semi-State really kind of encapsulates it. And I would tell you to go out there. If you don't go out there, you can watch Region Sports coverage of it. I'll share it on the WJOB feed so you guys can all see it. Anything else, Mike?
If you want to go, we do a Pick the Champions contest on Indiana Mat. You can go there and pick the champions. You win, you know, free stuff, some swag, some T-shirts, things like that. So try your luck. I'm the returning champion on that. So
all right.
Go to IndianaMat.com and fill it out.
Challenge Mike Reiser, the pride of Calumet. Thanks a lot, Reiser.
Thank you, man.
Talk to you 7:11 a.m. 12:30 WJOB. I want to say hi to a kid by the name of Ishmael. Ishmael, I ran into your dad last night, and I know that you're having a little trouble understanding that when I want to talk gibberish, you're like, well, why is he doing that on the radio? Well, here's the answer to that, Ishmael. The answer is because I can. And I had this discussion with your dad, who seems to be kind of a serious guy in your upbringing. And I just want to remind you that, you know, life isn't that serious. You know what I mean? And every once in a while, you just got to, hey, halahanya piska. Just kind of talk gibberish or maybe sing out loud just because you can. And I just wanted to bring an alternative opinion to that which your dad is handing down to you now. Maybe later, if he gets out of his dictatorial ways, maybe he'll even take you for something to eat.
Hello, everybody. This is Raimundo Garcia speaking. You know, the busboy from El Taco Real. I'm here at WJLB to announce that I am not the most interesting man in the world. I use bar soap when I shave. I once ate a hot dog with ketchup on it. I put my jeans on one leg at a time. When I drink beer, I sometimes drink Dos Equis. Sometimes I drink Corona. Sometimes I drink margaritas, and sometimes I drink Bordeaux. I don't always eat Mexican food, but when I do, I eat at El Taco Real. At El Taco Real, you can get Dos Equis, Corona, great margaritas, as well as fine wine. So when you want great Mexican food, go to El Taco Real. I'm the busboy, Raimundo Garcia, and not the most interesting man in the world. El Taco Real is located on Hoffman Street between Calumet and Columbia Avenues in beautiful North Hammond, Indiana. We're open Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 11 till 10, Friday and Saturday from 11 to 11, and Sunday from 11 till 9. Stay hungry, my friends.
Ironworkers Local 395, through their contractor employers, the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association, are the workers you see building Northwest Indiana. They are the craftsmen building your schools, hospitals, malls, steel mills, and manufacturing plants. They support local charities, including Tradewinds and Chasing Dreams, and they coach your kids after work and on the weekend. They live, work, contribute to all of our local communities' economic growth. To find out more about these organizations, visit ironworkers395.com or nwicontractors.org.
Injured in an accident that was not your fault? Get Gladish. Not only does he have over 20 years of experience, but Attorney Gladish is also a board-certified civil trial specialist by the National Board of Trial Advocacy, a member of both the Best Lawyers in America and Indiana Super Lawyers, and has achieved the highest possible peer review rating of AV by Martindale Humble. Let Attorney Gladish, along with his attorneys and staff, deal with the insurance company and its attorneys while you are putting your life back together. Call for a free consultation, 219-838-1900, or visit thegladishlaw.com. Attorney Gladish's office is located at 3235 45th Street in Highland, Indiana. Remember, injured? Get Gladish. Experience, ratings, and certifications count.
Need a ride? Call Dial-A-Ride, 932-2530, then hit number 4 on your telephone. Dial-A-Ride is free public transportation for North Township residents, sponsored by Frank J. Mervan, North Township trustee. Rides available weekdays 7 a.m. until 5 p.m. Dispatch call center open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Accessible vehicles available. To schedule a ride, call 932-2530, then press number 4. Dial-A-Ride service and this message, sponsored by Frank J. Mervan, North Township trustee.
Thanks, Frank. Frank, thanks. Thank you, Frankie. Frankie. Thank you. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's 7:14 in the Calumet region. My name's Jim Diedlow, and I'm host of JED in the region. And I made it in today with you guys. I was going to take a knee, but you know what? Even though I was filling a car at 12:15 in the morning at I-65 and US 30, I got home, shoveled the walk for a little while, ate about 7 bowls of Cheerios, and then went to bed just feeling like stuffed with milk and sugar, and it felt great, and woke about 3.5 hours later, and here we are. You and me, baby. I'm holding your hand on the front seat. Oh, you just lifted your hand. Hey, what do you got in terms of traffic? 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west looks good. The Bishop Ford still tight from the Borman Cross, I don't know, 159th to Sibley, a little bit past Sibley, and then it opens up, and then you catch it again at about 115th to 103rd on the Merch. So 2 areas along that area that are kind of tight. So I would say watch the Bishop Ford at this time. But once you hit the Dan Ryan, you're moving along well. And even Jane looks pretty good. Jane Byrne. Skyway Toll Road, Borman, I-65, US 30, Klein Avenue. They're all moving along pretty well. And that'll work for Napleton River Oaks Honda, proudly serving Northwest Indiana with superior customer service. What is the weather like right now? It is 9 degrees still. Single digits, my friends. And that is right here at the Strachan Van Til Studios. Hey, can you go wide angle on me here so I can move around a little bit? All right, there you go. How about ground round for $2.99 a pound? That's a pretty good deal. How about those clementines, which I believe are normally $5.99, are now $4.99 a box? Those little tangerines. Those are those little tangerines you can throw at people or you can eat them. And then you've got buy one, get one free on all natural, boneless, skinless chicken breasts. 9 degrees at local 697 of the Electricians Union, and that is in Maryville. Where's that, Hobart? That's Maryville over there, and that's where Certified Electrician is housed. And what do you have in terms of, it's 8 degrees at our good friends at Labor's Local 41, of which I am a proud alum, of course. And there you go. What's the markets are really doing nothing. They were way up yesterday, and then they came back, and they just settled right about where they just didn't do anything, and they're not really doing anything overnight. So let's talk to Mad Crack on line 1. Ryan, will you put him on there for me? There you go. Mad Mac, what's up?
Nothing. How you doing? You recovered from that Purdue game last night?
You know what? I'm here in spirit. How does that sound?
Well, I'm not calling to make fun of Purdue, but boy, is it reminiscent of Matt Painter of old? 14-point lead, and he loses it in the last second.
Yeah, that's tough to watch, man. And he has Matt Painter has been criticized in the past for not engineering the last couple of minutes basketball game very well. And I felt the same thing yesterday, right near the end, and I won't go over to the little finer points of it, but perhaps Purdue learned something from that loss that they can carry into the NCAA tournament.
Well, for all you Purdue fans, I hope so too, because I'm not one of those root against folks. I'm not a Purdue fan per se, but everybody loves them. The bandwagon is almost full, so I got to root for them. I hope they do well for your dad's sake and some of the other fellas' sake. The reason
hold on a second. So you don't pull a Dave Kuziak, who not only roots for the White Sox, but he feels better when the Cubs lose than the White Sox win. That's Dave.
No, that's masochistic. There's a gene wrong, something wrong in that guy's head when you do things like that.
Okay, all right. Well, go ahead. What's up?
Well, I called just to tell you that your wrestling guy that calls in. What's that guy's name that calls on the wrestling reviews?
Mike Reiser.
Okay, he might be the most poignant and knowledgeable guy about the subject he discusses that you may have ever had on this station, because that guy apparently seems to know everything about every weight class from A to Z. He just knows all of it. And he's well-spoken, and, I mean, there's probably not a name you bring up in the entire state of Indiana wrestling, right, that he doesn't have a little Wikipedia file in his head about, right?
Yeah, you know what he reminds me of? You know when you get down to the NCAA tournament, we all know like 2 or 3 of these guys that know all of the little intricacies of all of the basketball teams that might be in the tournament. He's that guy about Indiana wrestling. And you know what? To be that well-spoken and that intelligent, and for a guy from Calumet, you know, that's an achievement. It's like going to Hammond Tech. I am going to get killed for that. I'm going to get killed for that comment.
Hammond Tech, the Harvard of the Midwest.
Yes, exactly. I just never can resist a chance to rip on Hammond Tech. And there's another one.
Only 1.3 million reasons why.
Hey, Hammond Tech, the Harvard of the Midwest. Oh, that's great. Use it. All right. Well, what's
I put that on a JED app that you never played, by the way, but we'll discuss that.
All right. Talk to me.
One more thing. What do you think the chances are that one of your fearless tech people, not on the payroll, named Chuck Poland, can bowl a 200 series in his bowling league?
You mean a 200 game?
That's exactly what I said when I made the bet. He says, we had a little meeting of the Conservative Brain Trust last night at Plaza Lane, and somehow bowling and Chuck's bowling game came up, and he says, "Yeah, I'll get a 200 series this year for sure." I go, "What? A 200 game?" I said, "Even I got one. I got 2 of those in my career." He goes, "Yeah, no, 200 series." I go, "Dude, that means an average. That means you get 600 pins in 3 games." He says, "Yeah." I go, "No way in the world." He says, "No, I think I'll get it." I said, "Nope. I'm in for a hundo. Let's do it."
So you're saying that he thinks that he will average 200 for a 3-game series and get a 600 pins?
He says, yay. I say nay.
I'm going to take the nay side of that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with you.
We're in.
All right. I would like to see that. Let me know next time the Conservative Brain Trust gets together, and just so I could listen in and understand what you guys are doing. I will say this. David Gladish, the board-certified attorney at law, we gave him a patch for a 300 series.
He got 300.
He hit it right on the nose one time, and we
never got close again.
No, he was. That's as low as he ever went. But we had a kid that was there who had rolled a 300 game over at Stardust, so they had a catalog out, and they were going to order him like a patch or something for his 300 game. And we were looking over the shoulder, and I'm like, 300 series patch? And the guy goes, yeah, that's
Get one for
I go,
Gladys.
you know what? Gladys bowled a 300 on the nose, which means he averaged 100 per game. I go, can you order that? And then we had a little ceremony for him, and he wasn't real happy. And I videoed it. I never posted it, but I've now told everybody, so I might as well have posted it. But it was pretty funny, a 300 series, and he still has the patch.
He wears it proudly when he goes to court on occasion.
I don't think he knew in the beginning that we were kind of making fun of him with it, you know? And then he kind of figured it out over time as he became more of a bowler. All right, man, Matt, good hearing from you. Talk to you. Let's go to Jamie on line 2. Jamie, you're at what?
Hey, I was on one of those bowling leagues one time, and I got that watch, for 100 pins over average, but I averaged like 130, so I've been there. I've been that Gladys before,
Yeah, that's a big deal, 100 pins over average. I mean, a lot of these guys are like, say, 175, and then they'll bowl like a 265. That's a huge one, but to get closer up there, that's a big deal, especially if you're a 130 average to throw a 230. That means you're just like getting lucky.
Well, that was me. I did it on a sweeper night. The sweeper night where it's all for money and everything.
Yep.
I bowled like I had like a 140 average, I think, when I first started, and I bowled like a 2-something. And I think I cleaned house that night. Me and my friend that teamed in together, we did like on the sweep around. We just cleaned house, but you're right. That's when you're a bad bowler and you got a good average. If you have a good game, you can make some money.
Yep, exactly. And that's why some of these guys, if you go to these leagues, and I might be joining again. Jeff Detlow's got a room on a team for me. I might get back into it, but I'm going to school, and my wife's already kind of on me for being away all the time. But they have I forgot what I was going to say. What were we talking about? Sweepers or something?
Yeah, the sweeper, at the end of the year for bowling.
Yeah, whatever. I forgot my thing. So, hey, what's up?
But I called about the Purdue. It's like every time, I make plans. I go out last night. I get all excited to go out and watch the game, get some friends together. Every time I do that, it's just a disappointment. I don't know why I do it. But I don't. Wow, are they a much better team than Ohio State? What a disappointing loss.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to hear my soliloquy about Purdue, all you got to do is go to this Facebook Live post as soon as it ends and watch the first half hour, because I kind of like drowned my own sorrows on the radio because I can. And it was as disappointing. So you went out with a group last night to watch the game?
Yeah, I actually worked, and I had somebody come in early for me and met guys out for the game, and what a disappointment.
What was your feeling when Isaac Haas took that ball and banked it off the backboard and it fell off the rim, and you realized that they lost at the last second there?
Well, I think I've seen him miss a dunk every game this year, honestly.
God, that dunk he missed was about as ugly a play as happened in college basketball in a long time.
I don't know. I mean, how do you completely outplay a team and still lose? It's disappointing.
You could say this. There's one suggestion that was made on some of the blogs and some of the posts last night, is that perhaps Matt Painter got out-coached in the last 2 minutes.
Well, I could say that, but I can also, I don't want to be that typical Purdue fan, but it might be a good thing that we finally lost, but who knows?
You sound like my dad, Jamie. I don't want to hear it.
No, I don't want to be that guy.
You're that guy. My dad's that guy. Oh, well, maybe they needed this loss. I'm like, Dad, nobody ever needs a loss.
Exactly. Not a loss like that. That's a bad loss no matter what. It doesn't matter.
Hey, how was that ride back I-65 last night, huh?
I'm sure it was ugly.
You can't even imagine. All right, thanks. Talk to you. Let's see. Let's see how Dave's doing. Hey, Dave, you are on local 599 phone line. What's going on in your life?
I actually called to defend Wayne Micka.
For going to the Harvard of the Midwest?
He was actually at my home yesterday doing manual labor. I didn't personally witness it. I heard it secondhand.
All right. Did you hear the recent Hammond Tech Harvard of the Midwest story? Micka calls me or texts me. He said, hey, man, I'm going up in my plane. and I'm gonna go up so I could take pictures of your new WJOB that the WJOB roof that you're talking about, right?
Do that with a drone? Yeah, sure.
No, he goes up in his plane.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, he goes up in his plane, and from his plane, he texts me the pictures, right? And then 10 or 15 minutes to kind of look at them and get back to him, and I'm like, I just text him a big question mark back. I'm like, what is this, And he texts back. He goes, well, it's the WJOB. You keep talking about the new roof, and you're painting it for all the you painted it for all the planes to watch it and stuff. And I go, okay. So he parks his plane. And I look at it again. This is how the communication breaks down with a Hammond Tech guy. Okay. Micah went up in the air, got in his plane, drove around in the middle of winter to help out his buddy, and I'm very grateful that I have friends like that. Okay, but he sent me all these great pictures of the top of WJOB here at Purdue Northwest. In other words, we put a expensive roof over here on WJOB's old studio so that we could paint it white or paint it red and you could see it from the sky. He came and he took the pictures of the wrong WJOB. So I have really cool pictures of the new commercialization center from the sky, but I don't have any yet of the WJOB massive billboard on the top.
That needed a new roof. Man, what was that thing? It was made out of some weird, was it like asbestos tiles or something? It was some kind of weird roof over the old station. It was something crazy. But
you know what that was? That was
what was that?
There were two roofs on that, and one of the subroofings was gravel.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know who puts gravel on a roof, but maybe back in the 60s or 50s, that's what they did to get going. But anyways, what's going on?
Just so he would understand, taking a picture of the wrong roof, that falls under Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. What were you thinking, Wayne?
Well, he went to Tech, man. I mean, what do you say? I don't know if
I actually met a guy from Tech. Tech. It encompasses the Tech alum encompass the entire planet. I was at a pickup in at TMB Tubing, which is a new company in Gary, big company. And I'm doing all my paperwork, and the guy said, hey, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "Well, he's a Morton guy." He goes, "Oh, I was a Tech guy. I live in Hessville." He was a 1975 Tech graduate, and then we ended up knowing a bunch of people and how the whole 6 degrees of Tech separation. Somebody knows somebody that graduated from Tech. Hey, did I hear Mad Mac say he doesn't root against folks, unquote, quote unquote? He doesn't root against folks.
You know what? That brought a number of texts.
For 8 years, he rooted against Clinton. He rooted against Carter. What does he say? He doesn't root against people.
That was a little bit odd. I let him have his moment because he was kind of being nice, and I heard that there's a number of texts that have come in on that. Did Mad Max just say that?
Maybe just have just a momentary lapse of everything. Maybe he finally, since he has this huge chip in his shoulder and a huge fence, maybe just for a split second, he lowered all the fences around him, and we saw the real Mad Mac that he actually loves Democrats.
You know what? If he met a gal who was a Democrat, he'd love Democrats.
Absolutely. I'm going to say sure to that, yeah. But anyway, Wayne Micah was actually doing manual labor at my home yesterday, and I ordered, Kathy and I got a whole new kitchen from Micah. I mean, everything, and it's absolutely beautiful. I couldn't be happier.
We have a Micah kitchen also, and I am with you. It's just amazing. I love just hanging out in our kitchen because it's wood cabinets, and it was designed really well, and it just changed our whole house around. And I'm making fun of the tech guy, and he's probably texting me right now, like, leave me alone. But
Amanda, his top designer, Amanda, she could just eyeball something without a tape measure in her hand, and she says, "Oh yeah, we'll do this, and this." and it all fits perfectly. I don't know how she does it.
Been doing it forever.
When it comes to cabinets, she's like Rain Man.
You got it. Thanks, Dave. Good hearing from you. Hey, see the nation's largest auto show at McCormick Place, February 10th through the 19th. Log on to ChicagoAutoShow.com for details and download the official Chicago Auto Show app. Be right back.
Travel better with Gary Public Transportation. Our Broadway Metro Express is launching on February 19th with faster trips and brand new shelters. GPTC is also launching the Maryville Shuttle on January 22nd. Schedules will be posted. Go to gptcbus.com. Follow us at Gary Transit on Facebook and Twitter for new and travel updates.
JED's Garden Family Restaurant, located at the corner of Klein and Ridge, is Griffith's locally owned family restaurant with a down-home feel and made-from-scratch favorites you will love. Open daily from 5 a.m. to midnight, JED's has you covered with breakfast omelets, salads, stir-fry, seafood, and steak sandwiches. In addition to our award-winning lemon rice soup, 4 additional soups are served daily. Along with our recently expanded spirits menu, Mondays are half-price margaritas, and Wednesdays are $1 off domestics. Mention WJOB for 20% off your order. We'll see you at JED's at the corner of Klein and Ridge.
When I received the news that I had cancer, I was terrified. There were so many treatment options. That's why I called Rush Radiosurgery for a second opinion. Rush Radiosurgery in Chicago has a dedicated and caring team of physicians specializing in leading-edge technology to treat my cancer without surgery in less than 5 outpatient visits. If you want a second opinion for your cancer treatment, call Rush Radiosurgery 312-942-4600 or visit their website, rushradiosurgery.com.
From the Strack & Van Til Studios, your local Strack & Van Til has some great products on sale this week. Here's a few items you might want to add to your shopping list. Celebrate Fat Tuesday with our fresh-made punchki, 4-pack for $3.99 each, assorted dozen rose bunches for $16.99, and certified Angus beef, boneless, New York strip or skirt steak, $6.99 a pound. Strack & Van Til, proud to be Indiana-made and dedicated to being Indiana's grocery store.
Men, are you taking Viagra or Cialis for ED? ED should not stand for expensive drugs. If you're taking Viagra, talk with your doctor about Sildenafil. Now you could get the same active ingredient in Viagra in generic 20 milligram tablets for less than $2 each, saving over $30 per dose. Available at Vito's Pharmacy. Call us 219-228-7200 or visit us at vitоспharmacy.com.
Vito's Pharmacy.
Good morning, everybody. AM 1230, WJOB in Hammond, Indiana. My name's Jim Dietlow. I'm host of JED in the region, and I'm here with you guys the morning after Purdue has lost to Michigan State by 1 point right at the end. And it's a kind of a somber moment here as we are on the campus of Purdue Northwest, as you well know. And I've been going to games since, I believe, the very first year of my life, as my dad took me over to Lambert Fieldhouse when I was born on the campus down there. And I didn't go there, but we have a deep connection to the black and gold, and it's continuing here on the campus of Purdue Northwest. Tonight, we will have Purdue Northwest at 1:18, I believe, and they will be taking on Davenport University, and that'll be at the Westville campus. I will not be on the call, as I actually I am studying for my MBA at Purdue Northwest, and I have a quiz tonight, so I will not be on the call. That'll be Sam Michael and Ryan Walsh on the call out there. And the games are, what, 5 and 7?
5 and 7.
And you can catch both of those on Facebook Live. What were you going to say?
Well, I just wanted to come in here. I have some sympathy. I didn't harass you or anything. I kind of know your feeling. 5 years ago, IU had a home game against Ohio State, and if they were to win that game, they were going to win the Big Ten Conference outright. And I had a courtside seat from a friend, and IU did not win that game. Ohio State came into Assembly Hall and beat IU, and it was one of the worst feelings I had. It took me like 4 or 5 nights to get sleep again because that was the break between the next IU game. I mean, IU eventually won the conference. They won at Michigan, but that feeling of thinking that, wow, you blew the conference championship outright, first time that they had won a conference title since 1993, and they had a chance at home, and they got rocked by Ohio State. I know the pain that you have, so I'm not going to rub it in because I felt the same way.
I'm pretty sure you just did rub it in. Hey, is that Frank out there? You just did rub it in by bringing up IU.
Well, I'm just saying I have that same feeling that you have with the loss because that win last night would have been
Hold
the
on a
conference
second.
title.
You're trying to relate my Purdue pain to your Indiana pain of your. And
well, you don't like IU and I don't like Purdue, but we both don't like Ohio State. So I'm just saying.
I'll give you that. That's a shared enemy. Okay, a shared opponent. I get that part. But they do this thing at Purdue where they do this massive song and then everybody dances around. The end of it, I always forget. I go, where's this leading? I forget. And they could be playing Lipscomb University. At the end of the song, the whole place, 14,000 people, go, IU sucks. That is the number one cheer that Purdue has. Everybody looks for it. It's a great time. It's and that is the only time IU gets mentioned inside Mackey Arena unless they're playing there. Just so you know.
Yeah. And you and Debbie were asking why I don't root for Purdue was because they put on sex toys and sex dolls. IU sucks amount of football games and basketball games. And IU sucks cheers.
I've seen that.
So I don't know why I'd root for Purdue.
Yeah,
ever.
I mean I've seen that, and I don't know if that's entirely inappropriate. What was inappropriate last night a little bit is Governor Holcomb was there, and
he's friends with Chris Holtman.
Yeah, but I mean he's not a Purdue guy, and he had a Purdue shirt on. And I'm like, it's okay that you're there to watch the game. And, I think he played like high school basketball or something. And I understand being a fan and being the governor of our state, but please don't patronize us by putting a big P over your heart.
Well, he does that. He's been in IU games and
he wears an IU.
Butler and Notre Dame.
He wears a Butler shirt there, and then he wears an IU shirt. And I'm like, you know what? You got to be straight, man. You just wear an Indiana like a drab shirt. And by the way, Mitch Daniels was there, the president of Purdue, our landlord. He has really kind of gone just kind of granola. Showed up in some corduroys, and he looked like me in a headband almost. You know what I mean? He had ill-fitting clothes, and he looked like he kind of just woke up and walked over to the stadium.
Well, he probably rode his motorcycle to the game last night, and it's cold out, windy.
Maybe, but Ryan, thanks for that attempt for comfort. But if any attempt that you're offering me involves two letters, IU, I'm not sure that's an appropriate thing to do to your boss. Just like me making fun of Granola Mitch.
Granola Mitch.
He's our landlord. All right, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I was a very sad night, and my wife, too, was very sad about the loss. It's a great time now that they serve beer there. I'll tell you that.
What kind do they serve?
Shock Top, and I in memory of our good friend John Kiernan, I always drink Bud Light because I want to get a dig in at Mike Whalen too, who's a Miller Lite guy. But I just drink just a Bud Light or two, a couple of Bud Lights early in the game, just like going to a Cubs game. You hit them hard a couple like in the first few innings, and then you just let it taper off, so you're done by the time the second half of the game comes in. But it's really a nice atmosphere. Going to Mackey Arena has changed entirely. I want to say thanks to Adrian Santos. I said hello to his son Ishmael, and they sent back a text, and they said, Ishmael thinks you're cool, and he's 12 years old. So to all 12 years old out there, I want to know, am I cool or am I not? Hey, Ryan, thanks a lot, my friend. We have basketball tonight. That's on Facebook Live only. And then we have a whole bunch of basketball coming up. If you want to support either the girls semi-state or we have a big package coming up for the boys basketball where we're trying to do as many video games as we can, all that's going to take money. Thanks a lot, Ryan.
Thank you.
All right, 294 around the city is heavy. Is Frank here yet? No, he's not. All right, 294 around the city is tight from Cicero on up past 55. So if you can avoid going up that way, don't go that way. Joliet on 80 going back and forth, that's moving along pretty well. The Bishop Ford's tied, see, 111th to 103rd. It's much better than it was earlier. And the Dan Ryan's not too bad. So I'm taking off the watch to Bishop Ford. You can go that way now. If you left right now, I have a feeling it'll be cleared up by, like, say, 8 o'clock. Skyway Toll Road, Borman I-65, pretty good driving day. It was actually a pretty good driving day last night to go to West Lafayette and come back down I-65. Although, I'll tell you what, those lane shifts through just south of Lowell, that is just atrocious. I just can't stand that. Is he here? All right, Frank's here. We'll get him in here. Traffic is brought to you by our good friends at Napleton River Oaks Honda, proudly serving NWI with superior customer service. Ryan, hit up Napleton for a couple of auto show tickets. I want to go so that I could talk about all the Hondas that they got coming up. And then what do you have in terms of weather? It's still in the single digits. Really, you're not even phased by it right now. It's 9 degrees here at the Strachan Van Til Studios. It's 9 degrees along I-65 at Certified Electrician in the local 697. And it is 8 degrees at 599 along the state line, going up to a high of 23, mostly cloudy and cold. Snowfall amount from Thursday to Sunday is about 4 to 8 inches. And that's the best. The Times are saying up to 9 inches in some areas. So that is snow basically starts a little bit tonight maybe. And then tomorrow 2 to 4 inches. And then by Saturday you're looking at snow and ice. And that's how it is. Turning sunny and chilly on Sunday. It'll be high in the low 20s and a low of 2 degrees on Sunday. Knock, knock, who's there? Let's go with... Are we going to restart? You tell me when. No, we're just going to keep it going because we're running a little bit behind schedule. This period is bought by the North Township Trustee's Office, and the trustee there, of course, is North Township Trustee Frank Mervan III. Frank, how you doing today?
Good morning. How are you, Jed?
I'm doing okay, man.
So what's the total amount of inches we will receive by Sunday?
Well, according to the Times here, they're saying that we're looking at up to 9 inches. Here he says... It says snow is expected to return Thursday, starting with afternoon flurries and intensifying overnight. By Friday, some locations could see 5 to 9 inches of new snow. AccuWeather right now is putting that at 4 to 8, so anywhere in there. A lot of shoveling.
So, right, a lot of shoveling, one, if you're a little bit older, and if you can find a kid to shovel when it gets that deep and heavy, there are always risks. And I'm just letting you know, the other program that the township has, if you are 65 or older or homebound, you can call our office at 932-2530. And since it's on a Friday, or you can give me a call at 746-5792, we have a program set up where the East Chicago football team, the Hammond High ROTC and football team, and some members out of Highland, and some individuals out of Munster, we have a volunteer snow shovel program. So if you are snowed in, and when we have a lot of snow like that, if it's a necessity for you to get out, you can give us a call, and we can do that. And if you could do it in advance, maybe give us a call today saying, hey, I want to be part of this program. Please let us. So Jason Novak at EC Central and those football players come out, shovel your snow in EC. Whiting, we have them also from the high school. We're looking for volunteers in Highland and Munster. So if anyone would like to participate, if it gets bad and you would like to help out a neighbor, please give us a call, 322530, extension 324.
EC football's been pretty active in that for a while.
You know what? They have done it from the very beginning. Obviously, the relationship with Rich Novak being our chairman of the board at the North Township, and also his son, Jason, being their coach. But the most important aspect of Coach Novak at EC Central is he's heavily engaged. He is with those kids 110%. We were just there with our taking township to the schools where we give a seminar and talk about local government, township government, how it's funded, what our responsibilities are. And then next Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, we'll have our board meeting there. So all seniors will be there. And I was very impressed. Dr. Finley does a fine job, knows every student by name. And EC Central, they were engaged. They knew a lot about local politics, which is, I think, part of East Chicago genetic traits. But I was very impressed.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you think they all know who Adrian Santos is?
I would imagine they know who he is. They knew who the municipal leaders were, Mayor Copeland, Adrian Santos, the council people. They knew what the issues were as far as police and fire department, what's going on currently. Ultimately, I was impressed by them.
You want to hear Adrian Santos' stories as soon as you're done with this?
I believe I'm done.
Okay.
That was uncomfortable transition. Just go ahead and do things.
Adrian Santos he'd come out and watch the federal trials. And sometimes there's a guy named Mario Proscopoulos or something. I forget his name is from EC. And I'd say, hey, guys, I can't be here. Can you guys text me, tell me what happened or when they're re-meeting? Because they don't post it anywhere. You don't know. They could say, hey, we're going to recess and we'll be back at 2:35. And you don't know any of that. So, I recruit a couple guys. Well, Mario's an EC guy, and he goes to all the trials, and he sits there. And I stepped out for a little while, and Judge Moody was in one of his moods where he's just ready to rip somebody a new one. You know what I mean? And I could already feel it, but I had other work to do, so I leave. I don't even remember whose trial it was. And so Santos is in there, and Mario's in there. Mario's my guy. He texts me back and forth. And then Kenny Monroe's in there, and they're all watching it. And there's a lot of people that watch these things. And Kenny Monroe starts coughing, right?
Coach Monroe.
Yeah, starts coughing. And so Mario's this older guy that he's like on Let's Make a Deal. He's got paper clips and cough drops and all this stuff. Hey, Mario, I got another pen. Yeah. He's like that guy. And so he reaches in his pocket to hand Kenny Monroe a cough drop. Moody goes, hey, get out of my courtroom. And then Mario goes, well, I was just giving him a courtroom. Bailiff, get him out right now. Kicks him out of the courtroom. He was just trying to give Kenny Monroe a cough drop. And
sounds like being in class, doing the wrong thing at the wrong time.
It sets the tone that if you're going to be in Judge Moody's courtroom, don't hand anybody a cough drop, especially
Don't want to be perceived as a distraction.
Don't move.
Right.
Literally, don't move. I
Sit
fell
still.
asleep once, and I had another reporter just like elbow me, man, because if he catches you sleeping in his courtroom, man, you're out. You may be out for good. I mean, I literally, if you take the train.
He didn't slap a book on your desk?
If you take the train to Chicago all those years, you learn how to, sleep.
Under any
just by
conditions?
Tilting your head forward, right? And
most of Thanksgivings?
Yes. And my wife points out that when I do that, I start almost snoring almost immediately because of the head tilt.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Fall asleep in court as a reporter and do a little snore.
Channel 7 reporter, I forget her name. She's giving me this. Better wake up, man.
People's lives are in the balance here.
Exactly. I'm sorry. I went out last night. I met Dave Kuziak. You'd understand.
Mr. Fun is here.
Anyways, he's Frank Mervan III. Frank, I apologize that we haven't been able to make it to a Purdue game, my friend. But you last night was is very deeply saddening experience, and we've gotten over it. I'm here, but I just want to let you know that it might not be entirely 100% today.
I understand. You're a fan through and through. Does the play keep running? What did they not box out? What happened? I know it was a put up. I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was offensive rebounds they gave. Here's the problem.
How don't 7-2 and 7-5 get a rebound and box out?
I don't know. We meet my dad at halftime. We go out and talk to him, and my dad knows the game of basketball about as anybody that I know that isn't a professional basketball or that isn't paid to coach. And my wife even hates it because he always kind of knows it. She's like, your dad was right again. I see him at halftime, and he says two things. He says, Purdue doesn't have an offensive rebound, and if they don't get offensive rebounds, they're going to lose, even though they were up at halftime. And he says the other thing is, if only Haas and Carson Edwards are scoring, if other people can't step up, they're going to lose. Both of those things happened in the second half. They got one offensive rebound maybe. And then nobody else really stepped up, and they wound up losing. And she's like, I hate that your dad's always right about basketball. And So my dad predicted it, and that was really the issue. They were having trouble boxing out a little bit against Ohio State, which was hard. And that's how they wound up losing, was on a putback near the buzzer.
Right. I read about it in USA Today. Like I said, I was at an event last night. For some reason, I was drawn to that game. The next 2 games, obviously, are big games.
Excuse me. So, Frank, what's going on at the township right now?
You know, today, obviously, it's an abbreviated show. I just wanted to tell a success story. In the wintertime, homelessness is always heightened as far as people paying attention. You need a cough drop?
Hey,
Mario, do you have a cough drop?
Could you see Mario Palacios?
The cough drop, man.
Yes.
So a success story that involves people that I don't know. But I think that it's, I know him, but I haven't had a relationship with him. But I want to tell 2 stories. One is a woman was homeless, living out of a small pickup truck, and she was in the parking lot behind Lincoln's in Highland, and had been going back and forth and staying there overnight and during the day, living out of her truck. And her story was that she had lost her home, and there are some other things that we're helping her with, but had nowhere to go and nowhere to turn, and lived out of her truck for approximately 6 months. And I received a phone call from Chief Timmer, who had received a phone call from George Seamer from Seamer Heating and Cooling. And it was bitterly cold, and George would no longer tolerate the woman because he would see her behind his business, and he had placed her in a hotel. And Chief Timmer from the Highland Fire Department contacted me and said, "What can you do?" And so then the challenge was finding her because she was mobile in her truck. And what we did is we looked for her, and but George was able to locate her. She came to our office, and Virgie Carter, our chief deputy, was able to work with her, and we had her in a hotel room for about 5 days. Then she was put in the hospital and came out. And during that time, we worked with her to receive Social Security disability, and we also secured housing through HUD in Hammond at the new Silvercrest building. So now she has sustained living. She's able to receive Social Security disability because of the COPD, and has stabilized her. And, you know, our hope is if she needs other wraparound services, we'll help her. But what I wanted to say is that one individual saying this isn't going to happen on my watch, and I want to help, both Chief Timmer and Mr. Seamer made a difference in that woman's life. And she had been homeless for 6 months, and by basically taking the initiative on a bitter cold day, was able to help turn around this woman's life. And she's very grateful, and I believe that she will sustain other wraparound services and be a productive member of society who will have housing for the rest of her life. And I thought it was worth mentioning that those 2 gentlemen, if you see them, tip your hat to them because they took time to care about a fellow human being.
Seamer Heating and Cooling in downtown Highland. Contact our staff during regular business hours or 24 hours a day. I'll just give them a free plug there. I don't know George Seamer, but sounds like a pretty good guy.
He went above and beyond. Not only did he seek out and find her, I'm telling you, it was the bitter cold days when it was like 10, 15 below. He also put his money where his mouth is and helped find her temporary housing until we were able to go into action. So, it doesn't happen every day, and he didn't do it for the recognition. He probably doesn't want anyone to know, but I felt compelled to be able to tell that story because it's, community. I am my brother's keeper, and that's my business, and I wanted to make sure that he was identified and also everyone made aware of what people can do when they want to make a difference.
Hey, he is Frank Mervan. It's going to be an abbreviated show. We're out of time on these shows, so Frank has agreed to go earlier when he can, and he has to drop his kids off. So we'll make it up with Frank. Frank, I never have you in out of your show. How come?
Whenever you want me, be happy to.
I don't know. You probably weren't listening early, but typically after a Purdue loss, I'll get hit by a number of IU fans, and they knew it was such a deep loss. Nobody hit me. There was only one person who texted me last night and kind of gave me a little jab. Who do you think that was? And he's not even really an IU fan.
Is he a Michigan fan?
No, he's I guess related to me, and I guess tangentially to you. Then.
Oh. No.
Mark.
But he's a Purdue fan too, kind of.
I know. He's just,
But anything to get a dig in.
Well, I don't even know if it was a dig, but people
What do
really.
you think his weakness is?
I got him. Okay?
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to share them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he people even know that. Don't even text me encouragement when Purdue loses like that. Just don't contact me. I don't want to contact with you or talk to you. And he said that ride home sucks. So I get it wasn't really a dig.
That's not a dig. That's actually empathy for him.
A little bit of empathy, but if you know him, he's not really capable of that. Let's go to Carl on line 1, and then we'll get all the Purdue people coming in. Carl, what's up in your world? Since you served our nation in 2 different armed forces, we will make Purdue wait for a moment.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. Thank you.
And speaking of that status as military and a veteran, my sources tell me that there's some movement on the Hanson Library building in Hessville, and that it may involve some veteran activities.
You are absolutely correct. So,
okay, sure.
So Carl, the HC3 organization led by Amy and Scott Rakos, I'm not going to steal their thunder and act like I've done anything more than told them that I would collaborate and help them out. So they are absolutely leading the charge. So the Hammond, basically, or the Hessville Chamber of Commerce, the one that puts the Night at the Ville on Kennedy Avenue, I'm sure Amy and Scott Rakos should come on and talk about what they're doing, but they're turning the old library that's behind Hessville Restaurant into a community center. And what our role is there's going to be a veteran peer-to-peer group going on there 2 to 3 days a week that the township is going to facilitate and be part of. And what we're going to do is reach out probably on Facebook and on the radio and through the American Legions. And what that is going to be is just older veterans talking to younger veterans. There's going to be job placement, job development, and just peer-to-peer days for a cup of coffee for veterans. And we're going to do everything we can to try and find other activities that we can utilize that space so that veterans feel comfortable coming there. And so ultimately the community in Hessville needs to know that there's HC3 is working on an organization to put a wonderful community center together for seniors, something that I think is a brilliant idea that he deserves all the current world is Scott Rakos is going to have his local council office out of that. So you can, if you have business with him, you can go to his office a couple days a week. And ultimately, HC3 and Amy and Scott Rakos will be probably announcing all of that. So it's a great, great program. It'll be a quality of life situation for heavy, a great utilization of a building that is historical and underutilized.
Sounds good, sir. If there's anywhere I can sign up on a list to volunteer for that peer-to-peer veteran thing, yeah, go ahead and roll that over. Mr. Rakos contact me.
Absolutely.
I got his number.
It'll be more formal. It's official, but I would love for them to talk about it because it absolutely is their project and they've made everything come together. Our role will be to facilitate the veteran peer-to-peer, and we'll put a veteran volunteer basically list together and have it on our website, and so that people can sign up and be part of it.
All right, Carl, we're going to hit that. We're going to hit that a little more. It's not an official announcement, but I think I was going to have Rakos in and talk about that. But I think you bring up a point that is very important, and is that getting the younger veterans involved. Even here at Veterans Views, I talk about that with the guys in there. Like, the younger veterans, just when they come back, sometimes they just want to settle into their homes, and that's not always the healthiest way. Put it that way.
True.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a big topic. We'll pick that up again. Thanks a lot, Carl. And I know there's other callers, and I'm so sorry, but we got to move on. Frank, Township's going well. Wicker Park's looking good. You have big snow coming. What does that mean to the park?
Well, to the park, that means our job is to make sure, and it's secondary, but what we do is we make sure the trail is clear for those walkers who go out no matter what, and we'll be on it as we always are. My main message right now in the township is if you are elderly and you are snowed in and you need to have your driveway or your walkway shoveled, contact us so we can get volunteers. And if you're an able body or you have a child that needs to do community service, contact us at 932-2530, extension 324. And we're putting a volunteer chain together to be able to help seniors who need their shovel or their driveway shoveled so that they can get mobility if we get the 9 to 12 inches.
All right, guys, there it is. Call them if you need it. Thanks, Frank. And
thank you.
We'll make it up with Frank on another 10 minutes here shortly. Hey, Purdue Northwest is here. Richard Rupp's not going to be here, but we have a new host for this show today, so stay around. P&W Today will be coming up in just a moment. All right, guys, I'll see you.
Italian.